Welcome to Pell's Fundamentals for this news report on international reactions to Trump. And be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more videos like this.
All right.
Today we're focusing on reactions to Trump's statements about Greenland from Denmark, the European Union, and Russia.
Right. His statements have sparked a lot of international attention.
So just to bring everyone up to speed, Trump has stated that he hasn't ruled out using economic or military measures to gain control of Greenland.
Yeah, and he's also expressed interest in the Panama Canal. He's even suggested renaming the Gulf of Mexico. He shared maps on social media that highlight the capitals of Greenland and the USA, but they omit Canada's capital.
Interesting. So how have these pronouncements been received in Denmark, considering Greenland is part of the Danish realm?
Well, the Danish government has reaffirmed their commitment to the unity of the realm, which includes Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. The prime minister even called an emergency meeting with leaders of various political parties to discuss this.
What kind of concerns have Danish politicians raised?
Well, Pelle Dragsted from the Red-Green Alliance, he's criticized Trump's threats of military force and trade wars. And Danish media outlets have also weighed in. TV2's political editor Hans Redder, he described this as a foreign policy crisis for Denmark.
Now turning to the European Union, what has been their stance on these developments?
Well, David Lammy, the UK Foreign Secretary, he dismissed Trump's threats as destabilizing. He pointed out that NATO allies haven't engaged in war with each other since NATO's formation.
So the EU is expressing concern over the potential disruption to international relations caused by Trump's rhetoric. And how has Russia reacted to this?
Russia has expressed keen interest, as conveyed by Dmitry Peskov, the spokesperson for Vladimir Putin's government. Peskov has observed what he calls a cautious and subdued response from the EU towards Trump's statements.
Has Russia taken a specific position regarding Greenland and its future?
Vladimir Barbin, the Russian ambassador to Denmark, he has cautioned the USA against interfering in Greenland's political future, and he warned of potential retaliatory measures. If the USA increases its military presence in Greenland, he's even compared the situation to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, suggesting that if the West is so concerned about respecting the will of the people in Greenland, well, they should also consider the will of the people in the regions of Ukraine that Russia has annexed.
So Russia is clearly watching this situation unfold closely and drawing parallels to other geopolitical conflicts.
Indeed. Now, turning back to Denmark, their government has called for unity and a calm response to the situation, urging against escalating tensions with the U.S.
Has everyone within Denmark been on board with this approach?
Not exactly. Some Danish politicians have criticized the government's response as being too passive. Pelle Dragsted, the political spokesperson for the Red-Green Alliance, he's argued that the government should be more forceful in its response to Trump and should clearly outline the consequences of his actions.
So it sounds like there's internal debate within Denmark about how best to handle this situation.
Absolutely. There certainly is. It puts Denmark in a delicate position, having to balance its historical ties with Greenland and its alliance with the U.S., all while considering its own national interests.
And what about Greenland's perspective? Where do they stand in this complex situation?
Well, there's a growing sentiment within Greenland, particularly among the elite, that independence from Denmark might be the best path forward.
What's driving this sentiment?
Well, Rune Togtegard Selsing, a philosopher and debater, he believes that Greenland is essentially already lost to Denmark. He argues that the substantial financial support provided by Denmark is the primary reason Greenland hasn't already declared independence.
But what about the Greenlandic people? Do they support independence?
Well, that's a complex question. Selsing suggests that while independence might benefit the Greenlandic elite, who could potentially profit from resource exploitation deals? It wouldn't necessarily be in the best interests of the general population.
What does he think the consequences of independence would be for the average Greenlander?
He predicts that an independent Greenland could face a tougher and more exploitative relationship with the U.S.
It seems there are many different viewpoints on this issue, and the potential implications of Trump's statements are far-reaching.
Absolutely. And remember, this isn't the first time that Trump has made controversial statements regarding territorial claims.
Right. He's also claimed that the Panama Canal is being operated by Chinese soldiers.
Yes, and David Lammy, the UK Foreign Secretary. While acknowledging the potential for destabilization from Trump's rhetoric, he has also pointed out that Trump doesn't always follow through on his provocative statements. He also reminded us that NATO allies have not gone to war with each other since NATO was founded in 1949.
That historical context is certainly reassuring, especially in light of Trump's suggestion of potentially using force in Greenland.
Indeed. And it'll be interesting to see how Denmark navigates the situation. caught as they are between their historical ties to Greenland, their alliance with the U.S., and their own national interests.
So we've seen strong reactions from Denmark and the EU, and Russia is certainly paying close attention. What about the rest of the world? Have there been any other notable responses to Trump's statements?
Well, one particularly clever response came from an unexpected source: Mexico. Trump's suggestion of renaming the Gulf of Mexico didn't go unnoticed.
I can imagine. What was their response?
Well, the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, she pointed to a 1600s map that depicted a blended territory of northern Mexico and parts of what is now the U.S. She then sarcastically suggested that perhaps North America should be renamed to its historical name, America Mexicana.
Wow, what a powerful way to turn the tables and highlight the absurdity of Trump's suggestion. It shows that his words have ripple effects far beyond the immediate target.
It certainly does, and it speaks to the broad. And speaking of resource exploitation, there's been a lot of discussion about the potential for mining rare earth minerals in Greenland.
I've heard about that.
Huh.
What's the significance of these minerals, and how do they factor into the current situation?
Well, rare earth minerals are essential components in a wide range of technologies, from smartphones and computers to electric vehicles and wind turbines. China currently dominates the rare earth mineral market, and the U.S. is looking for ways to reduce its reliance on China for these crucial resources.
So Greenland's potential reserves of rare earth minerals make it even more strategically important in today's world.
Exactly. This situation is not just about political posturing or historical claims, but also about economic interests and strategic positioning in a changing world.
So stay tuned, folks, because this is one news report you won't want to miss. We'll be back soon with more updates and analysis.